Hi, I'm Lance Lysowski, the Sabres beat writer for the Buffalo News here in Saginaw, Michigan, a new destination for the Memorial Cup, the fourth game of the, there's the round robin round, quarterfinal, the semifinal, and the championship. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Memorial Cup, it is the champions of the Canadian Hockey League. So you have the QMJHL champion, the WHL champion, and the OHL champion, plus whomever hosts the event, which of course this year is the Saginaw Spirit. And Saginaw's, coincidentally, I guess not coincidentally, because if you're hosting this thing, you want to have a chance to win it. They loaded up and they've got a pretty good team. So I'm not here for Saginaw, though. I made the trip from Buffalo to Saginaw to see Sabres prospect matt-Savoie. Of course, their top choice in the 2022 NHL draft, made his NHL debut this year, although briefly, played in Rochester. He's been all over. However you want to describe matt-Savoie's season, chaotic, whirlwind. He used whirlwind when I just spoke to him after this particular game. Either way, it's on the brink. matt-Savoie and the Moose Jaw Warriors need to win Tuesday night to extend their season. If they win Tuesday over Drummondville, then Moose Jaw goes to the semifinals to play the loser of London and Saginaw. Not going to be an easy matchup for Moose Jaw. Drummondville, the QMJHL champions, are led by fellow Sabres prospect Vsevolod Komarov, fifth-round pick in 2022, the QMJHL's Defenseman of the Year, and an extension, or an accompanying that, he is a candidate for the CHL Defenseman of the Year. Looking like a very nice late-round fight for the Sabres, but Drummondville clogs up the neutral zone. They're a tough defensive team. They're somebody that is going to be a test for Moose Jaw, and you know what, though? Even though the Warriors, they're 0-2 in this tournament thus far, they've lost 2 one-goal games. You know, they gave up 3 goals in a span of just over 7 minutes here on Monday night to spoil their chances of really beating London. And London, this is my opinion, based on what I saw, they look like they have to be the best. If there's a better team out there, I would be shocked. London looks very good, and Moose Jaw gave them everything they had. Savoie, he had a secondary assist at first. It was taken away after the game, after the officials' review. Created multiple scoring chances. He had a puck go through the crease in the first period. He hit the post in the third after he intercepted a puck. A great game by all accounts. I thought personally that he outshined his 2 line mates, which isn't easy to do. Braden Yeager, a first-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jagger Firkus, who had an incredible season and will probably be on the Seattle Kraken next year, well, as soon as the fall. And matt-Savoie was just all over the ice tonight. Puck didn't go in, like I said, but it's got to be an encouraging season overall, though, regardless of what happens the rest of the week. If matt-Savoie doesn't even score again, if you look at the big picture, during the regular season in the Western Hockey League, matt-Savoie averaged 2 points per game. 2 points per game. Yes, he is 20 years old, but there are other 20-year-olds in this league, and they don't do that. He is a very, very dynamic player. Skated on the wing tonight next to Firkus and Yeager. He's been at center, though, for the most part. He's versatile. But as much as I think people focus on the goal scoring with matt-Savoie, for whatever reason, I think fans in particular view him as this, maybe a smaller, slighter player. Yeah, he scores goals, but if you really watch matt-Savoie, he's all over the puck. He hounds pucks. He strips unsuspecting forwards of it. He's so important to what the Moose Jaw Warriors do. And if you search on the Buffalo News website, I will upload it. It's not up there yet. Wi-Fi, phone dying, long story. But Moose Jaw's coach, Mark O'Leary, I asked him about matt-Savoie's defense and how important that has been since the Warriors acquired Savoie from Wenatchee back in January. And Mark O'Leary said at the beginning of the year, and this is in training camp, that when he was speaking to his general manager about any player in the Western Hockey League, if he could acquire anyone, who would it be? And O'Leary said matt-Savoie. And that defense, a lot of which he showed here tonight, is a main reason why. things. Not only can Matt-Savoie score goals, he's relentless defensively, hounds pucks, he uses that speed, and those are the skills that attracted the Sabres to pick him as high as they did. Now, I know there's going to be talk about injuries, and yes, Matt-Savoie did get hurt all the way back in September, shoulder and elbow. Neither were serious injuries, though. Neither, yes, they impacted his ability to make the Sabres roster at 19 years old, but otherwise, he came back. He's played a lot of hockey this year. He was at World Juniors. He only missed 2 days with a minor MCL injury that he got good news on the MRI. Took a little bit of time off before he joined Moose Jaw after the tournament. Since then, he's just been unbelievable. And when it comes to the defensive game, the ability to play center or wing, his work on the penalty kill, which was on display here again tonight in the 5-4 loss to London, Matt-Savoie is going to play his way into a roster competition in NHL training camp. I know people are not going to be necessarily thrilled to hear that another young player may have a legitimate opportunity to make the Sabres roster, but this is a player, Matt-Savoie, who's actually good enough defensively to do it. He's actually capable of limiting those mistakes that could be so crucial in games to a team's success. The margin for error is so thin, you can't have anybody committing reckless plays with the puck, and it's going to be very fascinating to see how Savoie uses that very brief NHL debut to his advantage moving forward. Now, it was interesting to hear his thoughts on how he wanted to approach going back to junior for another year. Now, if you're not familiar, the Canadian Hockey League and the NHL have a development agreement to where a player under the age of 20, which Savoie was at the beginning of this year, and you're born before a certain date, you can't play in the American Hockey League in the regular season unless it's on an injury rehab. Now, Savoie was able to join the Amerks for 6 games on an injury rehab, but because he was born one day late, he couldn't be with the Amerks for the duration of the regular season. And the playoffs, of course. And this is despite Matt-Savoie having 5 points in 6 games with Rochester. He could play at that level. He can. So even if Matt-Savoie doesn't make the Sabres roster in the fall, which is going to be very hard to do, it's going to be even harder than it was for Zach Benson, in my opinion, because the barrier for entry, not only with Lindy Ruff as coach, but with what we expect the Sabres to add this summer, is going to be even higher for Matt-Savoie. That's a good thing. That is a very good thing. If he doesn't make it, he goes to Rochester, which, by the way, is going to have a loaded roster of excellent young players. We'll see what they do in terms of rounding out their veteran group, but either way, Matt-Savoie is going to have a very ideal situation next season, whether it be in Rochester or Buffalo. Sorry about that. My phone gave me the low battery marker. We are running out of time. But anyways, he's in a good situation. You see the game. It's trending in the right direction. And even though I can only compare this to Prospects Challenge and what we saw with the Amerks, the NHL debut, and sure, it is playoffs and you're at a different point of your season, really impressive. I'll have a more thorough story on Matt-Savoie at the Buffalo News later this week. I wanted to get this video up now, and if you're able to watch this in time to lay out the circumstances, Matt-Savoie and Moose Jaw need to win on Tuesday night to extend their season. If they lose, it's over. Matt-Savoie's offseason starts. His vision for what he wants to do to make the Sabres roster crystallizes a bit, because right now his focus is on playing on this sheet of ice again on Tuesday night and accomplishing what this group wasn't able to. They had a lot of scoring chances on Monday against London. Their power play had opportunities. They had a chance to tie the game in the third period. Couldn't cash in, turnover, 2-on-1. A few seconds after that penalty expires, London scores again. And, although, some luck involved, also some very strong plays, especially with the extra attacker on the ice, Moose Jaw played its way back into making this a game, but in the end, A little too short, not enough production, especially from the top guys. You need your top players to perform. I thought Savoie was the best of the bunch, creating scoring chances. That's excluding Denton Matejček, their top defenseman, who was outstanding. I just thought among the forwards, if we're talking about the prospects, the high-end picks, Savoie was absolutely the best. So, again, I'm Lance Lasowski of the Buffalo News. Keep an eye on our website and the print edition. Don't know the exact date yet. Have a few phone calls to make. I want to write this Matt Savoie story to make it as good as possible for our readers. Had a great conversation with him after the game today, and looking forward to sharing it with you soon. I'm Lance Lasowski of the Buffalo News. Take care.